Hello everybody, my name is Oksana and I'm welcoming you at my little channel. This will be my first Flosstube in English. I just want to tell y'all that English is not my prime language, it's not my first language. So when I talk, I make a lot of mistakes. So you will have to deal with that. I'm sorry. Usually people will create their first Flosstubes showing whatever they are working on, all their whips or finishes. Mine will be a little bit unconventional, unusual, and non-traditional. I'm going to show you my recently finished projects and what kind of challenges and issues I had with that, and not only I, and warnings to everyone who are in process of stitching it or still planning to start. The reason why I decide to make this video at all, just because I'm watching a lot of other YouTubers and different languages, and I saw people stitching this very popular Aurora cabin by Dimensions, and those who already finished this project, they share their feedback and especially warnings about lack of materials. And I watched several YouTubers who mentioned this issue in this kit, and I decided just to create a separate video for anyone who, as I said, started, in progress, or just about to start, so you guys will know what to be aware of and what potential problems you can encounter, and maybe you can be a little bit more reserved and economical with the floss usage in your project. Now, I am going to make it in a different language, the same video too, for other people, so I'll have on both, so everything will be at least concentrated in one video. So anyway, I want to say apologize up in front for my bad English, but it is what it is. Usually people don't have issues to understand me, but in case if you do, let me know. You will have to deal with this. I wouldn't be able to fix it to be better. Now, most of my videos I am doing like you see, camera down, talking hands, and the reason why, because so I currently live in Texas. I live in United States for the past 14 years, and I've been, due to constant, very often job changes, I've been moved, for the past probably 7 years, I moved 5 times. And when I said I moved 5 times, I mean literally I moved either apartments or I moved cities. And which means like I don't have a lot of belongings, so I don't have a good setup to sit down, facing camera and show you everything. I literally don't. But I do have a facing camera videos when I do seasonal overviews, and hopefully by that time, when that will come, I will talk about it more. I am planning to do a little bit more videos in English, in case if anyone is wondering. Once I will have a way much better setup. I have a goal to have my own living, like a house, whatnot, and hopefully one day I will have some kind of a patio that I can sit down, or a room with normal tables, so I can do all my videos facing camera. I'm not afraid to show my face, it's not that pretty, but who cares? We usually come to look at projects and listen chatter rather than compare where you have those wrinkles, right, or other stuff. Anyway, let's start talking about this project. So let me show you my finish, and I'll show you how it looks like. I mean, you saw it. This is a very popular project. It's been popular for the decades, and I know Dimensions have been reproducing this kit all the time. I have this made in China version, and we're going to talk about this particular version because the issues which girls have been encountering, they were all with the Chinese version of this kit. Extremely popular, as I said, for decades, and I think it's still popular, like severely popular. Now, you may see that this project is a little bit like crooked, etc., because pretty much the whole thing is staged 6 strand, almost everything. Sky, except Aurora itself, like, and I would say Aurora like more like these green and blue parts, except green and blue and this pinkish part. All of these 5 or 6 strands. Forest, all these trees, 90% of these trees, 6 strands. Here on the bottom, 3, 4 strands. There is very, very little, like 2 strands, 1 strand, even 3 strand is very, very, very little. Most, as I said, pretty much the whole freaking project staged 6 strands or 5. It is crazy. It is not easy. I did see everyone said just because it's 6 strands, half stage, usually, I don't know how for you guys, but if everything is like that, usually it gets like crooked one way or another. I did try, I'm going to show you my back, I'm not scared of that. I did try to see like goblin style or like 10 stage, half stage. Like you see, I was doing mixing stuff, mixing stages, and still it went very, very sideways. But everyone who did that, it went sideways for them. But when they went to the framer made magic. It was straight. I don't know how those framers do this stuff, but I hope that one day when I will make it, frame it, my framer will do magic. I wouldn't be able to do that magic myself. I can guarantee you that. All right, so here is like, there is a lot of, there is not so many backstage, a little bit of backstage, ton of couching. Yeah, a lot of couching, and where is my stick, magic stick? Every single stuff here on the stone is couching. Now, after I washed it, usually when I do couching, even because when it's on a frame, right, it's stretched, it's, I do try to make my couching very tight, because I know that if I'm going to do like, I'm not doing it loose, but just like normally, not tightening it up. After washing, after everything shrink, everything just bending down, and I have the swings, not couching. So that's why I'm trying to do it tight, but even after washing it, it's still like you can see it went loose, especially like here you may see it got loose. I just hope that I'm thinking maybe I still need to a little bit like go and adjust it on the back end a little bit. I don't know, but I hope that when framer will stretch it, it will become more straight. I don't have a lot of hopes for that, but we'll see. There are 301 French knots. Yes, not 300, it's 301. How do I know it? No, I was not counting them. I'm not that crazy to sit down and count all those stars in the sky. I thought it was snow, but no, it is actually stars in the sky. So you can, I saw some girls would do beading instead of French knots, and beading looks pretty too, but I just wanted French knots because I knew my French knots are very crooked. I called them drunken French. Drunk French, you know, like so they just lean over on one side or another. But well, when I do a French knot, when everything is stretched, it looks very nice. But once I move to the next French knot, it kind of, I doesn't matter how tight I pull thread, my original one gets crooked. So I hate it. I try to make, like, you know, secure the thread to make sure that it's not pulling and doesn't get crooked. It still does. So I don't know how to do it properly, but anyway, I really didn't want uniform stars. I wanted them to be different, so that's why I decided I will go with French knots. I'm using Saga for pretty much actually all my designs, no matter how tiny they are. I'm just so lazy to count on the chart. So that's why when I did trace the chart and I uploaded into Saga, I knew that I have 301 French knots. That's quite a bit. You have also here, let me show you, you would have ton of floss. you will have additional, this is how much left, but there was like a big braid, a big fat braid of colors, because you are using a lot of 6 strands. Of course, you have 2 rails, 2 palettes of how you call this stuff, of other colors, and you are having the blending filament. Now, there is one thing which I want you to pay attention to when you are stitching this, and this is, I have a very good friend, stitcher friend, who showed me, who told me about that, and because I made a mistake. I didn't read it carefully, and I made a mistake, and I thankfully I didn't stitch too much. I had to rip it off, but it was like 80 stitches, I think, to rip it off, because I did it incorrectly. I didn't read right. So and she told me what it is, and I want to point it out to you in case if you also will miss it. So there is like you like regular legend, right? You have here cross stitches, half stitches. This is continuation of cross stitches, half. Then you have a table with blends, cross, blends, half stitches, a table with back stitch, couching, and French knots. And you have this interesting table in here. When you see, guys, yeah. So this one, it calls overlay stitches. I did not see it. I didn't see this word overlay, because I thought that this table is continuation of these blends, because if you will take a look carefully, because this is a blend, each of them is a blend, and I thought they didn't fit in one table, they continue into here. But actually, it is wrong. It was my mistake to think that way. Hopefully you see it. It's like I have camera standing on the ground, and it's like, not careful. It's very close to me to start like moving the camera. Anyway, so what is it? These are all blends with blending filament. So you have blending, you have, let's say, white with blending filament, you have purple with blending filament, and terracotta with blending filament. Now, what is overlay stitch? One of them, as you may see, is full cross, and another is and 2 other are halves. So the way how you do it, and actually it does give you the information here in the instruction about these overlays. If you will take a look, they actually do describe somewhere how you do it. So I read that carefully. So where is my? So let's take example of this white and with blending filament full cross. What you do, you take white, you stitch white color first, then you put blending filament in a second needle or after you're done stitching white, and then you on the top you cross with blending filament, you cross the white. So your bottom half will be white, top half will be blending filament. You are not blending together white and blending filament and doing cross stitch like that. You are not getting full cross stitch with white blending filament together. You are doing bottom half in white only, while top will be only blending filament. This is your full cross stitch, overlay cross stitch. Now, there are 2 colors with half. The same way, you can blend both color, let's say purple and blending, and start stitching just half, but in the instruction it doesn't say that you need to do it this way, but I think you can. But I would say that there is actually a difference, because I tried, and then I tried a little bit, and then I undid. I didn't rip off, but I just like undid and decide to do as instruction says. So what you do, so let's say this column, purple and blending filament, right? I'm not going to explain terracotta, it'll be exactly the same. So this is pretty much in the Aurora in the Aurora itself. You do purple, half stitch, you just with purple, no blending. And then on top, not crossing it, just covering the same half in the same side, you're not crossing it, just do blending on top. The way, if you do it this way, the blending filament does give more shine to your Aurora than if you blend those two together and do a half stage just to save time, right? Just do it together. So that if you do it that way together, it does give you less shine on an Aurora than if you will do it separately. But you need to make sure that you are doing both of them. It will be half stage facing one way. So that's how you do these overlays, and just don't be like me thinking that this is continuation of the blending table. It is not. So that is FYI about this particular nuance. Now, what are the issues with this chart, with this project, with this design? Lack of materials. I saw 2 stitches who reported lack of materials, and one of them actually said that she herself was watching another stitcher who also reported lack of materials. So by the time I was watching, I had 3 feedbacks, right, from people like about lack of materials. And when I finished my own project, I also faced a lack of materials. So anyone who is going to watch this video, you are going to hear pretty much like 4 feedbacks about lack of materials. So this is for you just to what looking forward, not in a good way, right? But to like know, keep in mind what may happen with you. So let me start with the blending filament. I was watching one girl, she said that she didn't have enough blending filament. It took her pretty much almost till the last stage, all of it. In my case, I had enough. Now, I had more than enough. I have left. By the way, if you're very interested, this is blending filament. I think it says Kreinik 032, in case if you want to buy it, like a separate spool. I bought it a separate spool because I heard the feedback about lack of blending filament. I decided, you know what, let me buy it just in case if I will like it, I'll have enough. Now, blending filament is used not only in overlay stitches. It is not used in regular stitches or half stitches. It is used in overlay stitches and in French knots. Now, I have 3 French knots with the blending filament. For the sake of God, I don't see that filament at all. It doesn't shine, it doesn't come out, it just doesn't do anything. So I did 3. I saw there is absolutely no effect like in the Aurora itself. I decided, screw it, I'm not going to bother myself with the blending filament in French knots. I will just do regular whites. But if you're interested, I think there is about 24 French knots with blending filament. I think somewhere approximately that much. Of course, they scattered, but as I said, you don't see the shine. Just don't bother with that, so I didn't use it. Maybe I would have less left, but even with the 24 stitches, I still think I would have enough left. That's in my kit. And I think, I'm sorry, I had to cough. I hope I caught it. So I think it's actually maybe it's a kit by kit basis, because certain lack of materials which other girls faced, I didn't have. But certain materials I was lacking, they didn't have that problem with. So that's why I collected all of that, so you can at least adjust your own stitching and be a little bit more reserved with floss usage. So blending filament was number 1. Number 2, let me see if I'm showing you the right one. Yeah, so this will be, I think this is the number 6164. This one. This is how much it's left. I'm sorry, it's junky. This is how much left. This particular thread, everyone was lacking. Me, other 2 girls, I don't know if the 3rd girl was lacking too, but at least 2 more girls lacking this 6164. One of them lacking it so much that she had to go and dig her other dimensions kits she was searching for this thread so she could like pull it out and use in this project. She ended up using CXC threads to cover lack of those materials, lack of this floss. This one 6164 is lacking severely in pretty much every kit which girls were stitching, including me. In my case, I think I was a little bit more reserved in using it. I had that much left, but I will be honest, it was uneasy to see how it's disappearing and you do not have any more anywhere at all. So keep in mind that. Now, this is really hard to calculate, to adjust your stitching, because with this number, you stitch 3 ply. And when you stitch, this is extremely uneven ply, right? So it's really hard to like calculate those lengths to make sure that you are extremely reserved and economical in your stitching. So just keep in mind, this one is lacking in every single kit. Now, the third issue which I personally had and other girls did not, this particular number, this particular number, 17981, you see there is nothing left, nothing. I will add a picture. I will show you how much I was lacking. I didn't have enough to finish the whole project. And that is the thread which I thought I will have abundance of leftovers, but I ended up having 0, and I still needed to stitch with that color. And I will be honest, I was extremely upset, because I was like, where do I get that, right? Because I understood that there is a chance you can contact Dimensions and ask them to send you the thread. But I was like, you saw how little it left for me to stitch, and I was like, just for that little piece, I don't know how many months I would probably have to wait until I would hopefully get that thread. Because I will be honest, most of the time when I contact seller, they ignore me. They don't give an F about me and my requests most of the time. Not everyone, and I'm saying, like, I'm very polite with them, because I mean, I do understand, like, well, if you want to get something from a person, just be polite and you have higher chances to get that stuff. And I don't see a reason why you need to be mad, unless they're extremely rude. Even then, you just can turn around and go away without being rude in return. So that's my policy of life. But I was like, I am so not looking forward. Try to contact them to give me a thread. And I will be honest, guys. It does look like I had so little left that I just need, because you stitch you stitch the whole thing like 6 strand. You need to use 6 strand for that color. And the pieces which I showed you, it looked like I would need only one. Like one skein, like one thing of 6 strands, right, to finish. That's not true. That amount of that surface which I still needed to cover required 1.5 of the full 6 strands, whatever pieces, to finish. It is more than 1, so I just needed at least 2 with 6 strands to be sent to me. Now, what I did, you probably see it on camera. Because with naked eye, you do not see it. With naked eye, you don't see it, but through camera, it does show up the difference in color in here. I don't know how it will be visible right now, but I used replacement in DMC in here. It is 311 to replace. There are 2 colors. When you go and see conversion, usually there are 2 dimension colors which are replaced by 1 DMC. So I understand that Dimensions coloring, dyeing their floss is not exactly as 311. And I will tell you it is not. 311 is slightly, a tad lighter. So maybe you saw that difference on camera, because when I was making the video, my weekly videos in different language, and I was showing this, when I'm talking and showing and yada yada, blah blah blah, I don't see it. But when I was editing video, I saw it very clearly, the difference. And I was extremely, extremely upset because through the camera you can see the difference. But with naked eye, you don't see. I mean, I know where it is, and I think I see the difference. But technically, you probably, if you would come to my home and you would look at this picture, you would never see it's a replacement there. Now, as you see, it's not framed yet, right? So I used, as I said, 1.5 because I cut strength. Like I measured this, and I cut 1. I staged it used all of it, and I still left some stitches to finish, so I cut another one and I left finished that piece. I'm very upset that I didn't have enough of this color at all, because I have a chart, dimensions chart only, and I'm trying to collect floss from all these kits for the chart. It's a really nice Santa. I think it says Windswept Santa. It's in a blue jacket. I really, really loved it, but that blue jacket needs this color, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I will finish this project, and I will have some floss left, because I know Dimensions will always put enough floss that you will have leftovers. It's not the case, apparently, with this particular kit. It's not the case, and it's per kit basis. As I said, I'm the 4th person who had issues with lack of materials in this kit. As you may see, I had that weird stuff going on with me. Other girls had different, but only one floss. I showed you that 60 whatever. We all had that issue with that floss. So keep in mind for that. You can replace stars with the little seed beads. I advise seed beads because they are smaller. They will be closer to the size of the French knots. I think bigger beads will be like too bulky. That's my opinion. You do you do what you like. But I was thinking that maybe just because I'm not rushing right now into framing this, not yet, I was thinking maybe I'm stitching other Dimensions projects, right? Maybe I will find this floss will have left over, and maybe I will undo here and redo the blue. I think I'm not going to do it. The reason why, because there is like French knots on top of this already. I mean, I can figure out how to, you know, like rip it out and make sure that find adventure on my ass, okay? Kind of that nature. But I'm not looking forward for that, to have the pain in my ass, right, with that. And in the same time, I had a project staged one, garden door, not garden gate, but garden door. It's a big oval one with the cat, and there are a ton of lazy daisies, and there is garden door and a little hat. I had a mistake there. I was stitching different color, 6 strands. There was again like a background like gray. There was one like charcoal gray and black, and I somehow mixed them. I pulled the wrong color and started stitching, and then I was like, something's wrong in here. Guys, let me tell you, stitching 6 strands easier than pull it out. You will curse your life trying to pull out 6 strands. It is nightmare. It is the same nightmare if you will try to pull out floss, you know, like when you will stitch 1/1 on some very high count. It's mission impossible to pull that out too. The same with 6 strands. It's easier, of course, but I was just like, I was hating my life pulling that out, so I was not looking forward for this. Now, there's another thing in here, and I'm just looking into it. I don't see it too much. So I don't have a big frame which would fit. I mean, I have big frames, but those frames have projects on them, and just because it's not fun to put those projects on those frames, I don't take those projects from the frame until I'm done stitching them, like until they finished totally and they're ready to be replaced. So by the time I started this project, I didn't have empty available big frame. I had small frames, so I had to stitch it this way. So I turn it around and I was stitched like from the side this way. And here I was stitching sky. As you may see, you see how this is like a garden. What you call it? Anyway, I would do a row of half stitches, and then a row of goblin stitches, 10 stitches, meaning like on the side there will be, on the back side there will be also diagonal. But when I stitch couple of rows, and not like couple, probably 10, like block 10 by 10, like the whole column, I saw that it looks like a wallpaper, you know, like old wallpaper, striped wallpaper. And I'm like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. And I didn't want my whole sky to look like that. So I left the sky out, and maybe probably if I wouldn't forget, at the end of the video I will put on time lapse. Okay, time lapse is not going to be as sexy and pretty as some girls are doing, right? They will stitch a little, they take it from the frame, make a full picture, and they keep doing it until it's finished. So in time lapse you see how it grows. It's not in my case. Mine one is like real raw, dirty, the way how it is going while I'm stitching, meaning like if it's on a frame, I mean, I am turning it to the so you can see it normally, not upside down. But if it's like rolled on a frame like this, the picture goes like this. That's fine, but you will see that technically I left out sky till the end, not because I was looking forward to stitch 6 strand. I hate everything what is higher than 2 strand, especially when it comes higher than 4. I hate my life, right? So it was not fun. And I was not looking forward. I was like, the last thing which I'm looking forward, like I was hating a thought that I have the most difficult part till the end. Usually when I do my projects, I'm trying to stitch, what the heck is this? I'm trying to stitch the most difficult first. So the easiest I will leave at the end, so I'm enjoying, I'm relaxed, and it goes projects finishing faster. Because if I'll leave difficult at the end, then it becomes extremely difficult, extremely slow, because I kind of see the finish line, but it's not moving, right? Because it's difficult piece left. So I prefer to get rid of difficulties at the beginning, and then I'm on a relaxed mode. I knew the sky is not going to be the sky is the most difficult for me was, and I was not looking forward, but I didn't want stripy sky. I just didn't like it, that idea. And I thought that maybe once I will be done, I will stitch this horizontally. I was like, I would rather have horizontal stripes, which is fine, rather than vertical. But I ended up actually doing differently. I was doing it like circling. So I will go stitching like on the edge. Actually, it was just because it was like turned. It was like turned. I would secure my thread here. We'll go like on the edge here and this way, here and this way. When it came to this piece, I would secure, I don't remember from which side, but I would go like this, turn, finish, this, turn, you know, like I was doing circles, because I was thinking, well, this will eliminate the any type of stripes. I didn't know what actually it will end up looking like. I was like, we'll all see. Well, I think it looks okay. It looks fine, and I think that if I'll frame it and it will be behind the glass, not regular glass, whatever glass I will decide to put it under, it will look fine. I know a lot of people do not put their project behind glass. You know, they just do frames and no glass, because this way the picture is more vibrant. The reason why I decided to do glass is because I'm a person who likes to burn incense sticks and nice candles. you guys don't know because it's invisible, but they release a lot of thud, and it's pretty dark. It's black thud, and if you will try to wipe some surfaces, when you do cleaning, right, you will see that it's like pretty black. And I know that thud can, like, you know, it will be hard to wash it off, especially if you stitch projects with hand dye floss and hand dye fabric, which they do say do not water it, right, because it will bleed. So that's why I was just like, I decided that if I'll frame any pictures, they will be under some sort of glass. I'll show you a picture which, you know, like they said, there is nothing permanent as a temporary thing. So I had a little rune stitched for myself. It is an ancient Slavic rune to protect your house. It looks like this. It's very simple. And I was just like, I had a really nice frame I saw in H-E-B, a local grocery store, and like far ago. And now I didn't buy it the day I saw it, just because I just recently moved from Houston to Dallas, and you know, like I had empty apartment, so I was buying necessities, like everything. And I was like, okay, picture was not high priority, picture frame was not high priority. I decided to buy it later. Later never happened, of course. And I had this particular frame, which I actually dedicated for a different project. And I decided to put this one in this temporary. It was temporary put. It's been temporary for the past 3 years, I would say. I think 3 years, maybe 2, but I think it's already 3 years. It's temporary. It's still, I still consider it to be temporary, but even this tiny project, by the way, you may think it looks really nice and tight. I will be honest, it's not even glued. It's not pinned. It's not laced. Just because it was temporary, what I did, so there is, it's barely closed. So there is like a carton. I just put fabric like carton. I put a glass, fabric on top, carton, and frame on top, and so it actually jammed between glass and carton. It's not secured whatsoever. It stands. It's not sagging yet. I think it's just so jammed against the glass that it just looks pretty tight. But it's still, I consider this frame still temporary for this picture. But even this tiny picture, it's still behind the glass. And I actually don't know if, you see, yeah, you see reflection. So it's still behind the glass because, as I said, me liking those incense sticks, which I really do like, I don't burn them very often, but I know they leave this thud, 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 thud. I think you got it. So anyway, I kind of derailed from the main topic of this video. As I said, most of my videos for now will be, I will try to do more English versions of my videos. I will try to do it from now on. Hopefully I will, you guys will like it. But anyway, I'm not going to do my projects like what I stitched, what I have in progress, like everything, because I just recently did it in a different language. I'm not looking forward to do it again. Maybe in a couple of years I'll do it, but for now I decided that probably, no, I'll skip it for now. As I said, for now it will be camera facing down with my talking hands, except the seasonal videos or yearly summary videos, which I do. I'm trying to do those facing camera. On the seasonal ones, I do seasonal. I don't do every month because I'm not stitching that much. It's like I don't do a lot of results and a lot of projects, so I find it pretty boring. But I think when you do every season, by the end of the season, you combine everything what you did through 3 months, and it's kind of like very refreshing. I like those type of videos. I prefer to do this because I know a lot of projects you guys, I'm judging by myself, okay? This is where I'm projecting. If I would watch someone doing a seasonal overview, like everything, let's say, for the spring. By the end of spring. Some of the projects I was already like, oh, I forgot you already stitched that, you took this this season. Oh, this is so, it's like new discovery, like something I see, like something new, even though I just maybe watched it 2 months ago, but I already forgot about it. And it's becoming like very interesting, like every time I see something new. So just because that's the feeling I have myself, I find it to be very interesting to do those videos myself too. So anyway, and I'm doing those, yes, facing camera, because that way you will see. Okay, so I think, okay, they want, you know what, I also like to give numbers in my video, and usually I do it immediately. This time I forgot, but I'll give you numbers on this particular project. So you would know, I started this project, 23rd of December 2023. And right now I have 16th of March 2026. So, and I finished it on February 4th this year, 2026. Even though it took pretty much like, just because December 23 is end of 23, right? It took, let's say, almost 2 years, but I spent 65 days stitching it. So in total, again, I'm using Saga, and it counts and shows me in which days, how many stitches I did. So it does give me total number of days, how many I stitched. So 65 days I spent on this project. So if you are not a multi-stitcher, or how you call it, like the one who stitches more than one project, if you are a monogamous stitcher, you will be able to finish it in a little bit over 2 months. Yeah, so it's about 2 months to take this to the finish. Total, it's 34,429 stitches, plus or minus couple of stitches, because when I do trace back stitch, sometimes I make mistake, especially when you on a sheets connection, because your chart may be on several sheets. When I scan the chart, I scan this, then I scan another side, you have another page with, so I have 4 pieces to connect together. And sometimes when you trace back stitch, sometimes you may not see a little like those overlaps, just I'm trying to fix those, but I'm not always seeing that when they overlap, and that's a little bit skewing the calculation in Saga, but I'm not worried about that. That's the total, like, approximate amount. Yeah, I maybe made a mistake on, let's say, 5 stitches. That's not a big deal, right? If you have 34,500 stitches, made a mistake in calculation on 2 or 3 stitches, it's like nothing. So there you go. Those my numbers, those my results. Be aware of the lack of materials. Be very, very economical in your stitching. Right now I'm stitching Holiday Village. It's also gold collection. It's also made in China. And just because I started it after this project, I'm very, very careful with my materials, because I have no clue what kind of kit I have and if I have enough materials there, right? It's a bit scary. This is my first dimensions, which had lack of materials. This is the first one. I have quite a bit, several stitched finished. Gold petites and regular ones and regular non-golds, like big size non-golds. I have those. I didn't have any issues with materials there. This one is the first one. That's FYI. Okay, guys, I will wrap up this video, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. If you like, put a like and subscribe. I hate to say that. You probably will hear from me this very rare, because I'm not a big fan to say it, like, oh, like, subscribe, whatever, do like whatever, what else they do, notification. I just don't care about that. But I would appreciate any type of feedback if it was useful for you. Maybe you yourself had, like, yeah, leave me a comment if this information was useful for you, or maybe you yourself had issues with the same, like, let's say you also finished it and you had issues with materials, but maybe you had something different than what I told you, okay? So I think that's pretty much it. I don't believe there is anything else I can add about this. Oh, you know what? Maybe one little itsy bitsy item. You know, and I wish I would say it before I will say goodbyes. Do I have an example? No, I don't. Okay, never mind. You know how Dimensions put needles, right, in the kit, and it put needles like for regular stitches and for the backstage. Tapestry needle for the regular one and the very sharp for the back. I successfully lost the regular one, the tapestry. I don't know how I lost the needle. It was pretty big one because you, as I said, the whole project, you stitch almost everything 6 strands. How I lost that branch, I don't know. It's a big needle. So I was searching for that needle for replacement in my strategic reserves. And I found a size, I think it was 22 or 24. No, I think it was probably 22. That size, ladies, that is the size of a log. That is a big ass needle. It is extremely big, extremely fat. When I was looking at it immediately in my hands, I understood this is way much bigger than what Dimensions put in their kits. I immediately felt it. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to stitch with that? Because stitching this project with the Dimensions needle, which is already big, was hurting my fingers like hell. I was feeling that I'm building muscles on my fingers. I would have calluses in it because it was so painful to stitch. It was bad. So I ended up, as I said, losing and replacing it with way much bigger needle, like really, really big one. And now I was like, oh my gosh, it will be a nightmare. Ladies, replace it with the bigger one. You will lose the problem with your fingers immediately. Your fingers are not going to hurt anymore because that bigger needle actually does, it is a 16 count, but it goes through the 16 count way much easier than the needle which Dimensions puts in, which is smaller size. The smaller size goes harder. The bigger one, which I replaced it with, way much, it was very smooth, even when you had to stick it twice, which means like you have to do 12 strands in one hole. I had 0 problems to go through the fabric and already stitched places. I was no longer having problems with my fingers, no issues, no callus, no pain, no muscle on my fingers, no build-up, right? It was totally gone. So my advice, replace it. Don't be scared, try it. You're not losing anything, just try it and you will see how way much easier it's going to go, and more pleasant, I would say, less painful, that's for sure, or let's say painless, not like less painful, but painless. It will be more correct way to say. That's the last part which I wanted to mention. Okay, I already need to go and skedaddle. I'm stitching a big ass project and I decided I was so tired of it. There's such a big confetti there. I'm like, I would rather go and do this video, even though I was scared to do this video in English especially, but I would rather do this than deal with that confetti there. But I still need to go and do a couple more 100 stitches, so, or half stitches, so to a little bit put some progress on that project. All right, ladies, I will say goodbyes here. I will see you in the next one and I wish you the best. Bye bye.